Such an idiot. What's going on, folks?
Doing
Welcome
right.
back to the Fish Life Podcast. I got my boy Chris Blackman sitting in with me tonight.
Yeet.
He's right there, ugly as ever.
Always.
We're going to talk about Bassmaster Opens, man. The Bassmaster Opens are finally over with, and whew, what a finish it was. That was a fun deal to watch go down. It was a fun series to watch all throughout the year with this race to get into the Elite Series and some of the names that were involved. We're going to talk about that in depth. Bassmaster has also released their 2021 schedule for the Bassmaster Elite Series.
And it's a good one.
It's a good one. So we're going to give you all the details on the schedule tonight, go over every event, kind of do a little bit of a preview on every event after we talk about what's going on in the Opens and who are the newest Bassmasters. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And then we've got, what are we calling that segment at the end that we're doing? Do we have a name for it?
Questions.
I think it's going to be get to know your host.
There you go. Get to know your
Because
hosts.
me and Chris are going to ask questions to each other and force each other to answer truthfully because we know each other pretty well. And they're going to be some
Off the wall, if you will.
deep questions.
Deep.
They're going to cut to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be pretty funny. So
Yeah. I foresee it being.
Because, I mean, you guys know how serious we are about everything.
Absolutely.
Outside of bass fishing, I mean, we're so serious about everything around here.
Never
so,
joke around. Ever.
jokes aren't. It's a joke-free zone.
Yeah.
It's a Joe Biden and a joke-free zone.
You know, I feel like Kid Rock right now. I
Wait a
laughed.
minute. Wait a minute. Can you not have? You can't be both. Because by saying the name Joe Biden, you automatically are making a joke.
Right.
So you can't have both. Never mind, jokes are okay. Still a Joe Biden free zone though, folks. 10 seconds of liberal tears. Let's get it started the right way. Go cry about it,
Pause
liberals.
for station identification.
Let's say a couple hellos to the folks that are joining us live tonight. We got Southeast Bass and TV, Hampton Show, Kyle C, 199, Ricky Moore, OMG, Texas 420. We got an old son. We got a what's up, old Billy Bass. A howdy, y'all. What's up, Billy? Man, everybody say, nobody's saying hi. Somebody say hi to Chris.
Yeah.
Chris is here too. Y'all better say hi to Chris. Now, that's my homie.
I don't need a participation trophy.
Participation, speaking of, man,
Feelings
my
are
kids and their soccer, good grief.
Feelings are subjective.
Look, we got
Chris.
Sup, Chris. Chris who? Yes. That's why I love our audience, dude. They just, they get it. Then we got a sidekick Chris. That's your new name.
Sidekick Chris.
Sidekick Chris.
Yeah.
You've been adorned with a new nickname now.
All right, just wait till y'all see what I'm wearing on the next podcast.
Oh boy. I'm a little nervous. We might get banned.
Hey.
Knowing this guy. Hey, let's dive right into it. Well, we need to do a little bit of current conditions because we always talk about our current fishing conditions, even though we do that on a lot of other stuff around here. But really tough fishing conditions over the last week in this area.
Started to warm up just a little bit.
Yeah. So, what's happened over the past week sucked. Like, we had like a 5 to 7 day straight cooling trend. We had a lot of wind. We had mornings around freezing, highs never getting out of the 50s or mostly 40s, and that's about as bad of fishing conditions as you can come up with in the late fall, early winter, which is where we are. Now, it's going to warm up, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, folks. This is not going to be a warming trend because the nighttime lows are still going to be in the 30s and 40s, which means at night the water will continue to cool at night, but we'll have highs high enough in the day that we'll have a little bit of a balancing act of warming during the day, cooling at night. So what should start to happen this week is the water column and the water temperature should start to stabilize.
We always talk about stabilization.
We've talked about that. I can catch fish in cold water. I can catch fish in hot water. I can catch fish in anything in between. Stability is what helps you be able to put the pattern together day after day. And it's probably still going to be pretty tough the first half of the week. By the time we get to the end of the week, man, we'll start to have it kind of figured out, and we'll be catching them pretty good, I would imagine, considering what time of year it is and all that. And the best thing about this time of year in this region is you're liable to roll up on the fish of a lifetime at any moment.
Yeah.
You know, you can catch the big ones when the water starts getting cold. So it's going to be a good week this week. Last week was awful conditions. Now, we grinded out some pretty solid days, you know. We ran to some power plant lakes and cheated a little bit to get away from the cold front conditions. But we did grind out some good fishing days last week. Wasn't a bad fishing week as far as that goes, but you had to work really, really hard. Even on the power plant lakes, you had to work extremely hard. It was very uncomfortable. Your hands hurt. All that stuff was. So this will be a nice week with very fun, comfortable weather. Once we get over the morning chills, the daytime temps will be very nice throughout the week. It should be a lot more comfortable, and the fish should really start to bite better the more stable that temperature gets in the water column. So I'm personally really looking forward to that. I can tell you for me, a jig, a lipless crankbait, an Alabama rig, a jerkbait Like those 4 things right there are going to be my staple on Lake Fork this week.
How's MC doing?
Martin Creek's in good shape.
Yeah.
Fishing well. You know, we went there at the end of the cold trend on Thursday.
I remember you said you were going. So.
Yeah, we went on. We finally got around to getting out there on Thursday, and I mean, we had 5 days, 6 days in a row at that point of that cool trend. So it was, even though the water was 64, it had been cooling dramatically,
Right.
which I think probably did slow the bite down a little bit. But we still caught several fish, I don't know, 17 or something like that in about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Fished for about 6 hours, and had a couple of big ones. And mostly smaller fish. But man, that's the good thing about Parapet Lake is no matter how bad the conditions are, you can still go out there and grind out, 15 bites, 20 bites, whatever. So that's great. But
That's a fun lake.
Martin Creek is in great shape, and as this water stabilizes this week, Martin Creek will fish really good this week. So if you're looking for a good place to go lean on them and whack them a little bit, my vote would be Martin Creek. It's a lot bigger than our other power plant lakes. It doesn't get near the pressure. It's a little further out of the way. It doesn't get the pressure that our other power plant lakes get. And so I highly recommend visiting Martin Creek this time of year because it's just a lot easier to fish without, Welsh can start to get, especially this year, man. Welsh got crowded early, and it's a small lake. And even Brandy Branch can get crowded at times. And Martin Creek's fishing really good right now.
Good grass too.
In little patches, shallow, yeah, sometimes out there as deep as 4 or 5 foot, not much deeper than that. And in certain areas it has grass, not just all over the lake,
Right.
but yeah, good grass, pad stems, flooded vegetation in some areas, even though the lake's a little low. And I'm pretty sure they're thinking about spawning. Because you can catch them shallow, on springtime type stuff, swim jigs, frogs, stuff like that. So.
It's all right, folks. I just really like Martin Creek.
Yeah, Martin Creek's
I'm
great.
a fan. It's treated me good the one time I've been there. So.
FYI, Perky's been generating for days. I saw that when I was on Martin Creek. Perky was pumping so hard you could see the smokestack, the cloud. Even on a cloudy day, you could see the smoke coming out of the stack from Brandy Branch. Even though you can't quite see the stack on Brandy Branch, which is Perky, y'all. You can't quite see the stack from Martin Creek. You can still see the smoke hitting the sky because when you're on Brandy Branch, you're uphill and you can actually see the stacks on Martin Creek from Brandy Branch.
Right.
But you can't quite see the stack on Brandy Branch, but you can see the smoke trail coming out of it. So they were pouring the coals to it last Thursday for sure. And somebody's telling us right there, who was that? Kyle C's telling us, man, they've been pumping at it for days, which makes sense. As cold as it's been, I'm sure everybody's using lots of power right now. So.
All them gas fireplaces, boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you. All right, hey, let's break into the Bassmaster Opens, man. Let's talk about it.
Let's get it.
So,
as y'all know,
let's pull up the Lay Lake standings real quick for us. So, we've talked about this all year, and this is kind of the culmination of what we've talked about all year. The Bassmaster Opens has probably, in a lot of ways, been the most interesting trail to follow this year with some of the guys that fished it, with Scott Martin and Brian Latimer and Brian New and
hasn't been any less exciting.
Jason Christie and Greg Hackney, and man, oh man, there was a lot of people fishing it that are really, really good fishermen. And I know I'm leaving a bunch of them out too, but we saw a little bit of the end of it at the Central Open a couple weeks ago, where our buddy Brandon Dillard, our boy, shout out to B. Dill, he finished with a big finish on day one at that last Open at Louisville and ended up getting a top 10 finish. But Jason Christie and Greg Hackney locked their place in to the Bassmaster Elite Series next year at that Central Open. 2 other guys that did were Kenta Kimura and Mark Frazier. And in 5th place was our boy Daryl Gleason. Now, this is points at the end of the year in each division. The top 4 in points for each division get to go to the Elite Series. And then the top 2 and the AOY get to go to the Elite Series. So they're taking 10. I believe that's correct. I think that's what's going on there. So we had Jason Christie, Greg Hackney, Kenta Kimura, and Mark Frazier were all guaranteed a spot in the Elite Series by finishing in the top 4 in the Central Opens. But what we also had was another guy that we pulled for on this channel, Daryl Gleason, was in 5th. And if the right guy won Angler of the Year or got top 2 Angler of the Year, then Daryl Gleason would have opened another spot in the Central, and he would have got in.
Yep.
I believe Frazier and Kenta Kimura were in
Correct.
Contention for that.
Yes.
And that would have allowed him to get in. So at the Lay Lake Open, which was just, golly, the condition, dude, I would not have wanted to have to fish in that. Nasty cold front. Golly, it looked miserable.
Pretty impressed by the weight.
Very impressive. So, a gentleman named Keith Carson wins the Lay Lake Open with 47 pounds and 1 ounce. That's a 15 and 2/3 pounds a day. Man, that's really impressive in those conditions. Jacob Walker got second. Clint Miller, Teb Jones, Alex Sherrill, Chris Payne, Samuel Fish, Adam New, Joey Nania, KJ Queen, Scott Pellegrin, Keith Poche, Jason Burrows, Wyatt Burkhalter, Cole Drummond, Justin Atkins was one that was in play here. So Justin Atkins is at 16th with 25 pounds for 3 days in 16th. Okay? And the reason that I listed off all those names is because the top 15 had nothing to do with who got into the Elite Series. But they did because they took some people and bumped them down.
That's right.
Now, Justin Atkins did himself a great favor by finishing 16th because Justin Atkins ended up finishing 3rd in the Eastern Opens points rankings. Justin Atkins is now in.
Love it.
And that's a cool story because think about the chance that man took.
Uh-huh.
He, you know, we could get. I don't want to get into all the negative, that gets talked about the Bass Pro Tour. But one thing that has been pretty prevalent about the Bass Pro Tour is they try to be very controlling over their anglers. It seems at times, and they were wanting guys to commit to the roster extremely early. They were wanting guys to tell them if they were fishing next year or not in October.
Was
I think it was.
cutoff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Justin Atkins was fishing the Opens, and he didn't know where he wanted to go or what he wanted to do at that time. And because he wanted to leave his options open if he qualified for the Elite Series.
He said, "You will not force my hand."
So he went ahead and took a gamble and said, "You know what? I'm good. I don't want to be on y'all's roster next year."
Talk about a leap of faith.
With no guarantee that he's going to qualify for the Elite Series.
2 tournaments remaining?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. That is ballsy.
I was going to say, can we say that?
Ballsy?
Demonetized.
Yeah. That's ballsy right there, bro. And you know what? Kudos to him. Man stepped up in the clutch and made it in. So the Justin Atkins deal.
Somebody said that Mark Frazier double qualified. So Gleason did get in.
Okay.
We'll
look further into that here in a second. So Justin Atkins is in. Another man that got in, and I'm trying to find him. We had Brian New finish 22nd. Now that's a big deal because Brian New has now, even though he didn't get in the top 4 in either division, Brian New has won the Angler of the Year overall for the entire Open Series for both divisions combined. So Brian New is in on that. And if he didn't win Angler of the Year, he wouldn't have got in. So that's great. Pat Schlapper, he finished 23rd in this tournament. Ended up finishing 2nd in the Eastern Opens. Pat Schlapper is now Bassmaster Elite Series invite. Joshua Stragner finished 29th in this Open. Joshua Stragner actually won the Eastern points race. The Eastern Division points race, Josh Stragner came in first. He is now a Bassmaster Elite Series invite. Now, I'm looking for where Scott Martin finished in this tournament, and I'm having a hard time finding it. Here he is. So Scott came into this deal. Was he in 2nd?
3rd, yeah.
3rd. He was in 3rd. He was in 3rd. Scott Martin was in 3rd in this deal, so he could only drop 1 place. And Scott Martin caught 21 pounds 5 ounces over 2 days. Because only the top 12 or whatever, 10 or 12 fished the last day. Scott Martin caught 21.5 and finished 46th. And somehow, that was barely enough. Scott Martin is now in the Bassmaster Elite Series coming in 4th place overall. Another guy, he risked it all starting last year when he said goodbye to FLW, which had been his home forever, and said, I'm going all in on the Bassmaster Opens, which is the toughest way to qualify anything in fishing. So congrats to Scott Martin, consummate professional. Dude succeeds everywhere he goes. I think a lot of people were really, really confident, but boy, you see how hard it is to qualify through the Opens? As good as Scott Martin is and as good as his year started, by the skin of his teeth, he only made it in by finishing 4th in the Eastern Division. He did not qualify through the Central. He did not qualify through the AOY. He only made it through in the 4th place, the last place available in the Eastern Division. That's awesome. Congratulations to Scott Martin. And the Opens, man, anybody that makes it through the Opens qualification has accomplished one of, if not the most difficult task in bass fishing. I mean, the Bassmaster Classic is the Super Bowl of bass fishing. But you fish against less guys for 3 days.
A lot less.
The Bassmaster Opens is like so hard to qualify through, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievably
I mean,
hard.
just look at the guys that we know locally that fish all the opens, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what?
Well, let me tell you something. Hey, here's a good story. Lee Livesey, who's now Bassmasters Elite Series champion and one of the better-known anglers on the Elite Series these days, guess what he never did? He never qualified through the Opens, folks.
Right.
The only reason that Lee got in was when Bass Pro Tour poached all the guys over. They had to go down in the points rankings a little bit outside of who had qualified for the Opens to get some new anglers for the Elite Series. And Lee got that special invite whenever they lost all their 60 or 70 fishermen or whatever they lost, or 80, whatever it was. And so he never technically qualified for the Elite Series. He got a once-in-a-lifetime asterisk invitation because of the way things worked out that year. And Lee is one of the better anglers on the Elite Series. It has been since the day he got there. So that speaks to me a lot to how tough it is to qualify through that system. So that's your top four in the Eastern. Brian News in an AOY. Matt Robertson, who's a fun guy. On'em. Where's that On'em hat that they're selling like 800? He's making $1 million a day selling hats that say On'em. Have you seen that?
I have not.
He's got this hat. It's just a plain black hat in real big white letters. It says O-N space E-M. On'em.
Oh.
And he's selling a gazillion of these hats. I mean, a gazillion of them. It's pretty awesome. So let's scroll back up to these comments talking about Gleason. Gleason did qualify because Mark Fraser double qualified. So they must have taken the top four from the Central, the Eastern, and the top four from AOY.
I thought it was 2.
I thought it was 2. I thought it was 2 from overall as well. So we could be wrong. We're not the most smart people on earth. Yeah. Or attention-paying people.
Yeah.
Neither one of those are our strong suits.
No.
No. Being idiots, we're real good at that.
It's like 2 cats fighting in a shoebox.
So apparently Mark Fraser must have got 3rd or 4th in AOY.
Mm-hmm. You got 4th.
He did?
Yep.
Okay, well that must be how it is. They're taking the top 4 from AOY as well. That's great. I'm very, very happy
And
to see
good. Daryl's in. Let's go.
Daryl, let's go, Daryl!
On him.
He's on them. Him and Matt Robertson, they're on them. That's great. How'd you like to be Daryl Gleason sitting at the house and not wondering if you're going to qualify with all those moving parts they had?
Oh, yeah.
God, you know, I need to reach out and see if we can get him to do a call-in with us and tell us about that. That had to be cool and stressful.
I just thought of something funny. How'd you like to be Daryl Gleason watching this right now going, but I did get in?
Yeah. He probably won't do a call-in.
I'd like to call to set the record straight.
Yeah. What if he just texts one of us right now?
It was like, hey, bro.
The number's out there on the website and stuff. Like, what if he just texts somebody like, hey, I actually made it in.
I actually made it in.
Doubt very seriously somebody like Daryl Gleason is watching our podcast, but
Right. I just thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely funny, as are most things with me and you.
Yeah.
Most things we're involved in, there's comedy of some sort that comes in. So there's your Opens review on who your new Bassmasters are. We got Jason Christie, Greg Hackney, Kenta Kimura, Mark Fraser, Joshua Strackner, Pat Slapper, Justin Atkins, Scott Martin, pull up that AOY list, Brian New, Matt Robertson, Daryl Gleason, and KJ Queen?
I guess he gets in since...
No, it'll be whoever was 5th behind Scott Martin in the East. Hamner might be in. I don't know, folks. I give up. I have no idea what's going on in life anymore. I'm so confused. Somebody's in. We don't know which one.
Somebody.
Maybe Hamner, who's Patrick Walters' buddy.
That's right.
That'd be great if he snuck in. He's a good guy. From what Patrick tells me. I don't know anything else about him other than what Patrick Walters said.
I believe him.
Patrick Walters fishes the truth and speaks the truth from what I can gather. So
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're getting some help from our viewers. This is great.
This is what this is all about.
Earning the 4 overall Opens invitations. So there was 4 in the overall. Brian New, Justin Atkins, Matt Robertson, and Mark Fraser, who will join his brother Micah on the Elite Series next year. So that means it looks like Hamner's in.
Yeah, it looks like
Pull the East standings up one more time. Do you have it handy?
I have it handy.
You have it handy. So in the Eastern Opens, Patrick Walters has already qualified. He actually finished first. So Joshua Strackner was second. Slapper was third. So those are the 1 and 2 spots.
Mm-hmm. Martin and Hamner.
Yeah, Martin and Hamner. That's right.
Yep.
Atkins, Martin, and Hamner. No, Atkins qualified through AOI.
Yep.
There we go.
Boom.
Justin Hamner's in. Congratulations to Justin Hamner. Congratulations to Patrick Walters. He gets to go tour. He gets to go on the road with his boy next year. That'd be cool, right? Like, think about, like, if we didn't, like, suck at fishing so bad, and, like, I was on the Elite Series, and then you were fishing the Opens, and then you qualified, and then we get to go on the road.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Who would make who sandwiches, though?
I believe, knowing me and you, we'd be hiring somebody.
Got to.
I'm not eating anything you make.
I'm not eating anything you make.
No, we're going to have to hire
Because
somebody.
there is evidence on this channel of some of the food challenges we've done to each other.
That was a one-time deal. He lost. I never wanted to risk it after the way that one went.
Yeah. So.
You'd have to look way, way back to the beginning of the channel, but we did do a fishing bet.
Was it pecani sauce and?
We did a fishing
chocolate
bet where the loser had to eat whatever the winner chose to make them eat. We went to Whataburger, but you could order anything messed up as you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I ordered him a chocolate milkshake and made him put pecani sauce in it and mix it up.
It's pretty bad.
One of the worst experiences of your life.
I didn't like it at all because I
Like,
hate
out of
pecani
the
sauce.
negative things that have happened to you in life, where does that rank?
Yeah.
Because there's been some messed up stuff happen to you, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a splinter under my fingernail before, but I'd rather do that again.
Rather get another splinter
Yeah.
than eat the
Than
pecani
eat
sauce?
that. Yeah, I don't like pecani sauce.
I know you don't.
Pecani
That was
sauce.
the whole point.
Yeah,
I know you
yeah,
don't.
Yeah. I like hot sauce. I like real hot sauce.
The funniest part was we made that bet. The funniest part was we made that bet, and the first thing you do is, listen, I'm down for anything except mayonnaise. I'm not eating mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And I was like, bet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No problem.
Pecani sauce. I was like,
In a
forgot to say
milkshake.
that too.
In a milkshake.
Forgot to say that too. Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the, pull that schedule up, man. Let's talk about that Bassmaster Elite Series schedule.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I'm not trying to pick sides or anything, but Bassmaster is on a roll right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. I obviously don't know the inner workings of the business operations of Bass Pro Tour. I don't know what made them make the decision to not finish their schedule like everybody else did.
Yeah.
Or like Bassmaster did, because Bassmaster is everybody else.
Right.
With both the Opens and the Elites. But when they decided to not finish that schedule, that was a loss for them.
Yeah.
That hurt them.
And then BASS just took all the momentum and freaking ran with it.
Yeah, they have really ran with it. And I want to say that them not finishing the schedule, I believe I heard somewhere that it had everything to do with TV production schedules.
Which would make sense.
Like, they have these national television networks that the television show is aired on, and they had to have the tournament done by a certain date to air in their slot, and they weren't going to be able to. So they only fished the ones where they could get the TV show aired on time.
Yeah.
But they still could have fished the tournament and done the live stream.
Yeah.
There's no reason they couldn't have.
Right. Or maybe tried to renegotiate I mean, they air their stuff way later than everybody anyways.
They air reruns and stuff.
Yeah.
They could have tried to renegotiate the airtime on Discovery Channel or CBS or whatever they had. I can understand that not getting done.
Right.
I can get that.
But to not fish the tournament.
But to not fish the tournament at all, I mean,
Yeah.
in today's world with live streams and social media coverage, and I mean, why would you not have the tournament at all?
Yeah, because eyeballs are still dollars.
Yeah, and then you literally, and if nothing else, to keep your brand strong for next year. And now you've let your competition seize all of the spotlight and all of the attention.
Right.
And, I don't know. I don't know what their reasoning was, but I think as they're sitting here right now, they're regretting it.
Yeah.
I believe they have to be.
I mean, look, man. Okay, I'm going to say this.
Keep going.
I was watching, I was scrolling through TV late last night. It wasn't that late. But the World Tag Championship was on ESPN. Like, come on. Did anybody else see that? They had the World Tag Championship.
Here's a great question about what do you think about Ike leaving Bass Pro Tour? I actually meant to talk about this last week and I didn't, and so I'm glad that you asked that because I wanted to talk about this week and I was about to forget it again because that's, we talked earlier about there's things that we're not really great at. Forgetting to do things that I'm supposed to do is definitely something I'm an expert at.
Yeah.
I'm
great.
specialist at that. So Iconelli actually has given a couple different interviews on podcasts and things and articles, and if you go read those, it's very interesting to hear his take on it. I think the gut reaction, the knee-jerk reaction to when Iconelli didn't show up on the 2021 Bass Pro Tour roster, everybody went, "Oh, he's going back to Bass." And then there was people that were even going Legends exemption. Well, the only two people ahead of Iconelli in Legends exemptions are Roland Martin and Larry Nixon. Well, Roland Martin has actually come out and said he might take that if his son qualifies, which now he has qualified. But they have given out as many as 2 Legends exemptions in previous years. So Iconelli's right there. He's third in the Legends exemption status. So if Larry Nixon doesn't go back in, then Iconelli could.
Right.
And I think everybody's knee-jerk reaction was, well, Ike's going back to Bassmaster. That's why he turned down the Bass Pro Tour. And I'm not telling you that that's not going to happen. But the interviews that I've heard from Iconelli have been very interesting. And what he has said is that with their schedule not getting finished this year, and him fishing tournaments, the top-level tournaments, much less than he has in years past, it created an opportunity for him to spend more time doing his social media content, his Ike Life podcast, his fishing videos all over social media, and even TV-style productions that he's wanting to put on the internet. And what he said is the promoting that he's done through his social media stuff, financially, it actually worked out better for him this year through sponsor dollars and everything else. And guys, let me tell you something. You don't have to have, and Iconelli doesn't have 1 million subscribers, and you don't have to have the biggest viewer base to make good money in social media, like really, really, really good money. Everybody looks at how many views you get, and they think about the Google AdSense revenue on YouTube, because that's what, like right now on YouTube, when this video plays after it's live and you see a commercial, every time one of those commercials plays, we get a piece of it. Well, that only works out to about, depending on who you are, $4 or $5 per 1,000 views maybe is about, that's a really high one. Like that's a really high rate. So that's really not that much money unless you're getting like 1 million views a week, and then you're killing it. But
Right.
Ike's not getting that many views.
Right.
But let me tell you what does happen. What happens with me? You get deals where people go, "Hey man, we'll give you some product. If you need whatever product you need, to make sure you're fishing exclusively our product, and we'll pay you $5 per 1,000 views." Direct sponsor dollars. Even as small as my channel is, which is much smaller than Iconelli's, I make some pretty good money through sponsor dollars.
Right.
So what Iconelli found out was that when he invested more time, and I saw somebody comment that he fished some kayak tournaments this year. He did. Do you know why? Because kayak fishing is a topic. It's a title that trends very well on YouTube. So when you can put kayak fishing in the title, it helps your video get a lot more views. So Iconelli went and did kayak fishing because it's a good clickable topic. It's a good thing to plan a video around.
Trending.
That's it. It's all about trending keywords. That's why you see some of these guys title their videos, and we talk about clickbait. Man, it's their job to get clicks. I'm really glad it's not my job to get clicks. I mean, yeah, that does help my business, but I've never gone down that path where I'm trying to only operate on social media. So, anyways, Iconelli basically has come out and said he may fish Bassmaster if that opportunity presents itself. He may fish some kayak tournaments. He may not do any of that. He may just concentrate on social media. He's got a television-style show that he has spoke of many times, and he's very excited about the concept of it. He's very excited about producing it, and he wants to produce a TV-style show that will go out on his internet stuff, basically. And that is even going to create more sponsor dollars and direct sponsorships when he does something like that. So Ike may just be going full-time social media. He may be. We talked about the big risk that some of these guys took, turning their, making decisions on what tours to fish and going for the opens like Justin Atkins. And we said Scott Martin. One thing about Scott Martin, he didn't take a chance on anything.
No.
Because if Scott Martin didn't qualify through the Bassmaster Opens, he could just sign up again next year because he's making a ton more money through social media than he'll ever make on any fishing tour.
Correct.
He is. And Iconelli it seems like is starting to discover that may be where the more scalable financial opportunity for his family is. And yes, Iconelli loves fishing and he loves competing. He's one of the best that's ever picked up a fishing pole, no doubt about it. But he is a professional fisherman. And I love tournament fishing too. And I get asked a lot, how come I don't tournament fish? And the bottom line and the reason is it's my job to provide for my family as a fisherman. And it's much more efficient for me to do that through social media marketing, but also through guiding. I know I'm going to get paid every day. I'm not gambling, which is what, at the level I would be at in tournament fishing, it's gambling. Mm-hmm. And it's, even if you're winning, you're not really making very much money. You're really not. So it's, Scott Martin wants to win the Bassmaster Classic like his dad did. Absolutely. Of course he does. Of course he does. And I'm not saying that he doesn't want to do that, and that's not why he went to the Bassmaster route. What I'm saying is that if he wouldn't have made it,
from a monetary standpoint, he'd be just
as
fine.
A business, he's fine.
Right.
Because he got in earlier than the tour guys did, the other tour guys did, on the social media deal, and he invested in it. He hired a full-time camera guy, an editor, and he went all in on it early and got way ahead of the game, and he's killing it, man. I mean, killing it on the views, killing it on the subscriber count, and he's going to forevermore, as long as he keeps putting out that content, he'll make more money through that than he ever will. Now, in the sport of bass fishing, does he want to win the Bassmaster Classic? Does he want to compete on the Elite Series? Yeah, he does. Why wouldn't he? He was dominant on the FLW, won Anglers of the Year, won Forest Wood Cup. He's won on every level he's ever fished on. Yeah, he wants to keep proving his legacy as a fisherman. But he's got that safety net in his back pocket where financially, you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
That's a big deal, man, when you're fishing. Like, that frees you up.
I guess what we're trying to say is he did it right.
Oh, yes.
From a business standpoint, from a professional fishing standpoint, he has done everything.
And as that relates to what Iconelli said, Iconelli is seeing that may be the way to go.
Right.
It seems like he's really starting to see that's the more profitable side for his family. And as much as he may love tournament fishing and competing, if he can not fish a professional level tour and make more money for his family while still getting to fish, that's his job.
That's right.
That's his job. And I totally understand that and appreciate that. So, that being said, Bassmaster Elite Series did release their new schedule. Let's get into that because it is a great, great schedule.
You ready?
Let's go. Talk to me. Let's go one at a time.
February 11th through 14th, St. John's River.
February 11th through 14th, St. John's River. So, that is a staple on the Bassmaster Elite Series at this point. I think they've been there as much as they've been anywhere else, maybe more. It seems to be a place they really enjoy going, and it never really fails to provide entertainment. Fish are spawning at that time there. They catch big fish. We've seen Rick Clunn win on that spinnerbait, catching them like 30-pound bag on the last day or whatever it was. Like,
the spinnerbait's still alive, folks.
yeah,
not all chatterbaits, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, yeah, I mean, St. John's River, a great place to start the Elite Series. Always has been. That's why they do it so often.
Yep.
Where are we going for stop number 2?
February 25th through the 28th, Tennessee River.
Tennessee River. Now, this is the Tennessee River where they had the Bassmasters Classic that Ott Defoe won.
Correct.
Okay, so this is going to be a cold weather tournament on the Tennessee River at the end of February, but we've seen a classic there during that time frame.
Mm-hmm. So you know kind of what to expect.
Little bit of a grind, river fishing, current driven, oxbow, all that stuff. Typical southeastern, East Coast river fishing, but a great area. The Tennessee area, obviously, super passionate about bass fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Great bass fishing market there. They'll have big crowds at the event. That'll be cool. And I know the guys get excited to fish anywhere in that area, just like they do. It's one of the reasons they like coming to Texas and Florida and all Alabama. The reason they like coming to these places because that's where bass fishing is the biggest.
Right.
Everybody in the community is all about bass fishing. So,
March 19th through 21st, your Bassmaster Classic at Lake Ray Roberts, Fort Texas.
Lake Ray Roberts Bassmasters Classic. Yes, obviously it's the Bassmasters Classic. That's going to be a huge deal. It'll be interesting to see if they can have a convention or not at that one.
I think they'll be able to because what I can tell you is yesterday I went to an NFR event in Fort Worth, and they handled it really well.
Yeah.
And so we were.
And what will it look like? What will it look like in that convention? Will there be less booths because it's more spread out? Will like Iconelli be standing behind some plexiglass?
So
like, how are we gonna do it?
Well,
Because normally you go to those conventions, you like shake hands and hobnob and big crowds and.
So there was quite a few people milling around, and there was quite a few tents and booths. There was a concert at the arena, the old arena.
I think the real answer is we just don't know with everything that's going on in the world. We don't know what's going to happen between now and then. As we saw last year, what was going on in January was not what was going on in the end of March.
Correct.
So we really don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. As far as the tournament goes, Lake Ray Roberts,
potential to kick out some big bags.
especially March 19th to 21st, that time of year, man, there might be, I mean, you literally might see, probably will see a double-digit fish get caught. I mean, it's a really, really good chance somebody's going to catch a 10-pound fish in that classic. Ray Roberts is not a lake that you go catch a lot of fish in typically. It's not a lake that everybody goes out on and has success in. It's kind of known as a tough lake in general to most of the fishing population around the DFW area. But it always kicks out big bass when they hold tournaments there. When they have a Bass Champs tournament or any of those trails like that, there's always giants that get weighed in and big, big bags in Best 5 tournaments. So I'm excited about that one. I like seeing big fish get caught. I think we all do. If you're a fan of the Elite Series, you like that format. And those guys are going to be swinging for the dadgum fences at a place that can kick out a head. In fact, probably the best guide on Ray Roberts over the years has been Danny Golden. And Danny Golden has caught a 15 or 16 pounder out of there within the last 10 years. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was within the last 10 years. So it's got some big, big, big fish in it.
They call it Ray Bob, not because Bob's short for Robert, because Bob stands for big old bags.
Is that big old bag? That wasn't bad. That was actually pretty good.
April 8th through 11th, Sabine River, Orange, Texas.
Another great area to hold a tournament as far as the local participation.
Correct.
They get some of the biggest crowds they've ever got when they go to the Sabine River in Orange, Texas. Not the best fishery on earth as far as size of fish. It's something different, though. You know, it's one thing I like about the schedule is there's some variety in it. We're going to go up here and not catch very many, but fish for heads and fish a classic impoundment, deeper water trees on Ray Roberts. Then we're going to turn around and get in dirt shallow water and maybe a little bit of current, some backwater areas, some reeds, some flipping, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to grind it out. We're going to catch 3-pounders, and the guy that catches a couple 4- and 5-pounders is going to win. You know, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's not bad. I can watch that. Like, people complain about the Sabine River, but when I watch the tournaments that have gone down there, the Chris Lane one sticks out in my memory when Chris Lane won on the Sabine River. That was an awesome tournament to watch as a TV viewer. So I'm looking forward to that one too. And then we're going somewhere.
April 22nd through the 25th.
We might talk a little bit longer about this one.
Right here.
Lake Fork.
Come on.
Hashtag Goat Lake, Lake Fork, Texas.
Oh, what's that thing that's in the sky at nighttime and it shines real bright sometimes? Is it the moon?
It's a moon.
And it's going to be a full moon?
I believe they're right around the full moon in April. I don't know exactly when it is. I know
it's close.
I know there's a full moon right at the end of March, like the last few days of March. So that means that the April one should be right around there. And it wouldn't surprise me if they scheduled that for the full moon to be like on the first day of the tournament. April 22nd through 25th, Lake Fork, Texas. April 22nd is a date that stands out bright as the sun in my memory on Lake Fork, because many of you guys that watch this channel have seen the video of a 13-year-old kid catching a 12-pound bass.
That was on 22nd?
That was on April 22nd was the date that occurred. So there's a lot of big fish shallow. So what you're going to see at the Lake Fork event at the end of April is you're going to see a lot of fish on beds, especially if they're there the day of the full moon and they're fishing that tournament for the few days after the full moon. You will absolutely see a lot of big females on beds, paired up, ready to bite. And that tournament will most likely be won bed fishing and frog fishing, because you're going to have bedfish and you're going to have fry garters and big lazy females hanging around shallow water. So sight fishing and frog fishing. And the other thing that might play in that tournament is a little bit of shad spawn. The shad spawn could be starting at that point. So early in the morning, you might see some guys whacking 30 or 40 right off the bat on a shad spawn and then go looking for 2 or 3 heads on a bed the rest of the day. Like, that literally might be how that goes down. Or you might see somebody pick up a frog and grind all day and catch 5
8-pounders.
huge ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it can happen.
Legit, guys, we might see, like, I would be surprised. We probably will maybe see some 40-pound bags in that tournament.
Yeah.
That's a really good opportunity. As long as we don't have stupid, crazy flood and rains, or some crazy, because we do get some, like I've seen it snow in late April here.
Yeah.
It happens. So if we don't get some really extreme weather for that event, it's a really good chance the 4-day wait record gets knocked off at that event.
I mean, it could.
It could. Not saying it will. I mean, if they go in there and catch 100, there's no chance. No chance it
It's
takes
under.
less than 110 pounds.
Yeah, no way.
110, 120 minimum. And it might be as much as 140 or 50.
I don't think 150 is out of the realm of possibility.
150 is
at all.
not out of the realm of possibility.
Because there were guys.
What is 150 pounds over 4 days? That is about 30. That's 37.5 pound average. That's going to be really, really hard to get to. But I don't think a 33 or 34 pound average is out of the reach at all. And 33 pounds, 34 pounds a day. Let's see, that's 120. That's like 136, and that would be just enough to break the all-time record. And 33, 34 pounds a day, I don't think is out of the question, and that's right at what it would take to break the all-time record. Because that would be 132 to 136 total.
As good a time of year as any to do it also because, like you said, you've really got potentially 3 viable options to where big fish are a huge player. So
Let me ask you this. This is interesting because when they come to Texas, when they come to Lake Fork, that's Texas Fest. They weigh them in the boat and release them right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. They're bed fishing, right?
Right.
They catch, Lake Fork has 5 pound males.
Mm-hmm.
They catch a 5 pound male off a bed and release him. Come back the next day, catch that 5 pound male off that bed and release him.
Why not?
There's no rules against it.
That's what I would do.
I
You
don't
heard
think-
it here first.
I don't know. I don't know that there's rules against it. I don't think there is.
How can there be? You're sight fishing.
They could literally, it's like some guys could have 3 to 5 pounders that they retread every day and go in and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, how many times have you seen the same female get caught multiple times?
Not
it
a real big one.
Well-
Not a real big, 8+ pound females, 7-8+ pound females. You might catch that same man if you caught her just right. You might be able to catch her two days in a row or 2 out of 3 days. That's pretty rare. That wouldn't be like a one-off deal. But there's
5 pound males.
there is literally 3, 4, 5 pound fish that you can catch every single day on Fork if you want to. Like, there's guides that do that. I try not to do it as a guide. I try to only catch them once every 3 days. Mm-hmm. But I've literally had fish that have been on beds, like a male bass, 4 pounder, 5 pounder, that's been on a bed for 3 weeks on the same bed, and we caught him every 3 days. Every 3 or 4 days, we caught him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Why not?
yeah. And we're probably not the only ones catching that fish. Like, he's sitting there getting caught every day by somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh, I caught a male off a bed one time up in Birch. It was 3 pound or something like that. This sucker had a hole this big in the top side of his head.
Well, he met me with my jig in my hand.
Right, I know. But that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
he was still up there doing his
Yeah.
deal. So
The Lake Fork tournament, though, that's going to be one to watch with full attention. And it always gets all of our attention around here because we're from here and all that. But, man, like I said, sight fishing, frog fishing, shad spawn,
yeah.
maybe a little bit of swim bait action. Like, golly, that could be.
I'm going out on a
Something
limb
special.
and saying the record gets broke.
I think the record's 130.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the Falcon record was 130 pounds over 4 days.
Yep.
That's going to take 32 points. 32 and just over 32 and a half. That's a 32 and a half pound average. 130 pounds is a 32 and a half pound average bag. Yeah, I mean, it might not. I mean, it might be a 28 pound average, 29 pound average, whatever, but might be a 20. It won't be a 25. It'll be at least a 28 or 29 pound average. But it very well might be a 34 pound average or 33 pound average, and that would be a new record. I mean,
Think about it.
that's very likely.
Hey, live scope. May not come into as much play.
You don't need live
shallow.
scope. You just need waterland scope. Get you some waterland glasses. You can see them right there.
Well.
That time of year, you don't need live scope. It's right there. You can see them in the water.
You're going to have some going back out this way too, though.
You might.
You just never know.
That will be a tournament that I'll tell you this. I'll make you a bet right now. I bet you live scope don't win that one.
Well, no, I don't think I'm comfortable enough saying that, but I'm just saying you go pick up a couple fish that have already gotten out that are big.
Oh, there'll be some. Dude, Keith Combs is going to be there. I promise you he's throwing that 6XD.
Right. Exactly.
He's going to be out there throwing a chartreuse and blue 6XD.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to do when he gets to Lake Fork.
His name's Keith Combs.
Yes. And he's probably going to be in the top 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You ready for the next stop?
Let's move on because I'll sit here and talk all night about Lake Fork.
May 6th through the 9th, Neely Henry Lake.
Neely Henry, that's one of them old spotted bass fisheries, I believe. They got a lot of big spots, some smallmouth. They got a little bit of everything going on in there.
Aggressive.
It's an Alabama lake. And here's the thing about May. May is the easiest month to schedule fishing tournaments in because you know what fish is really good in May?
Everything.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Fish is really good in May. So that'll be an awesome tournament. Of course, Alabama's a great fishing state. And then we go into another Alabama tournament after that. When's that one?
May 20th through the 23rd, Lake Gunnersville. Come on.
Late May on Gunnersville, some fish starting to get on ledges. Some fish still around grass eating a frog or a topwater or something like that.
So,
hey, I'm in.
So aside from Lake Fork, this next one is my favorite. I think they...
The Gunnersville one?
No. After Gunnersville. That's my favorite stop outside of Lake Fork.
Not Gunnersville, because I know you're a Gunnersville fan.
I do like Gunnersville, and I'd love to go back.
Yeah.
Been there one time, had a great time.
Yeah.
But June 10th through 13th, I'm just thinking about viewer purposes,
Right.
Pickwick.
Pickwick, yeah, I mean, that's going to be, another one where fish are starting to get stacked up offshore in early June.
I love the
And they
lake
can
fishing.
get in big numbers out
Yeah.
there and really hungry. Really, by the time they've had enough time to get off to bed, recover, and gather up out deep, they're there to eat, man. Late May, early June is one of the very best times to fish, period.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of different things, but if you want to learn how to offshore fish, late May, early June, just don't go shallow. Stay deep, and you can catch a ton of offshore fish. Now, that tournament may very well be one around some grass or up shallow or
Right.
on a top water or whatever, but there will be some offshore groups opportunities where somebody could get, and if somebody hits that right, they'll
could get
run
double.
away. Yeah, you get big weight. Yeah, they'll run away with it. Yeah.
Yep. And then after that, we've got July 8th through 11th, Lake Champlain.
A little bit of a break there, about a month break, and we're going to go up to Lake Champlain, another staple of all professional level tours, really. Lake Champlain was an FLW staple. It's a Bassmaster staple. Great fishery right there. We know what we're getting in that one. That's going to be a good tournament.
And then July 15th through the 18th, that's quick.
Yep. Turn right around the very
Turn right
next
around.
week. Yeah, because you're right down the street. We're going to go to the St. Lawrence River in Waddington, New York. Smallmouth.
Y'all saw
Just
what happened this year.
Beat down smallmouth.
Yeah.
Beat down smallmouth.
And then August 19th through 22nd is a makeup date.
August 19th, 26th is a makeup date. Right as of right now, it's ending July 15th to 18th. That's the last one. That was the only negative I had about the Bassmaster Elite Series schedule this year. I love every stop on that schedule. I can get behind and watch every one of those stops with a lot of excitement to watch it, The one thing that I didn't like, and it's just because of how spoiled we got this year, is it's over in July.
Yeah.
I got used to watching it all year.
I know, man.
Because in the springtime, I was so busy fishing, I didn't really miss it.
You know, in a perfect world, they do a late winter, early spring schedule, and then a fall, early winter schedule. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It wouldn't, but I'm just saying.
It's
That'd
not
be
going to
awesome.
happen. I know, this is a traditional schedule, but it is a little bit disappointing that we're not going to get to watch
It's defeating, for sure.
the Bassmasters the rest of the year like we've been getting used to this year. It's been awesome. Lake Amistad should be one of the stops. I would love to see them go back to Amistad. They had some really good events there in the past. I would love to see them go back to Amistad. I'm with you. Somebody's saying they live near Amistad and it's really low right now. That may be why they're not going back there.
That's typically
A lot of people claim that's what MDJ did in March. So they're saying that MDJ was re-catching the same fish off beds in that little cove. Not in the same day, I don't think he was. Because he did all that damage in one day. I don't think he was catching the same fish off the same beds in one day.
I was watching the live coverage, and he caught just as many in the mouth of that pocket as he did in the back.
And I know the mouth of that pocket. That time of year, he wasn't sight fishing nothing in the mouth.
No.
he wasn't seeing. He wasn't seeing them in the mouth.
But I did see some comments about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hey, let's move on. We got a great segment to wrap up. So this is going to be get to know your host.
Get to know your host.
Chris is going to ask me some questions, and I'm going to ask Chris some questions, and they got to tell you the real answer. Because if they don't, the guy sitting next to him is going to call him out because we know each other that well.
Hold up your right hand, Billy. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
Hand me a swim bait. Hand me a swim bait.
All right.
Give me a swim bait.
Repeat after me, Billy.
I swear on the holiness of this swim bait
To tell the truth.
that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There we go.
So help me swim bait.
So help me swim bait, God. That's right. All right.
You gonna kick it off?
You know what? Go ahead. Give me yours first.
All right. I gotta know, so viewers, I just want to come along with me, because I'm like y'all a lot. I watch this guy several live streams a week, and I've asked this question 1,000,000 times, and he never answers me. So I really want to know, how many bagel bites can you eat in one sitting?
How many bagel bites?
Do you think you can eat in one sitting?
Bagel bites is a real easy answer. It's 0, man. I don't like bagels.
Okay. How many pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls is a whole different question. And how many could I eat in a sitting? How many come in a bag?
Well,
There's different size bags, I guess. So we're not going to limit it to the bag. How many could I eat? That's a pretty challenging question.
do you want me to give you a little insight? I've eaten the party bag is 90.
Yeah.
I've eaten 90 in a sitting.
You've eaten 90?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. I could join the Century Club on pizza rolls.
Yeah.
I bet I could.
Okay. It's not easy.
I'm a fan of pizza rolls.
Oh, the heartburn's horrible.
Oh, I bet it is.
But at the time, it's worth it.
It seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm like, because you know me, I'm so competitive about everything. Like, if you
Right.
challenged me to see how many pizza rolls I could eat, I could get the Century Club.
Can we get this on video
Oh, man.
and then go fishing early the next morning?
No, and you know why? Because you're sitting here believing that I could. Now, if you were like, dude, there's no way you could eat 100, you could probably egg me into doing it.
Okay, I will
But
tell
now
you.
I'll know it's just for TV purposes and I won't do it.
Well, no. I mean, a good friend of mine, we were going to fish a tournament on Lake Tyler. And so I went over to his house Friday night. He happened to live 5 minutes from the lake at that particular time. And he challenged me. He called me out. And the heartburn got so bad that particular night that I couldn't complete the 90. But I think I ate somewhere around 78 that night. And he tapped out at 34. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. So he's weak. Weak sauce.
Yeah.
He ain't got no competitive drive in him.
Yeah.
All right. I want to ask you a question. How many boats have you owned?
2.
How many boats have you gotten rid of because they were broken?
2.
Moral of the story, folks. Don't buy one of Chris's boats.
I don't know why I feel personally attacked right now, but I do.
Yeah, you should. I think that's the whole point of this segment.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask you another one.
All right.
If you had all your tackle, not in bags, not anything else, but you put all your tackle
Okay.
in a box like that right there.
Plain old tackle.
Plano box, one of these boxes. These are the ones that come in skeeters when you buy them. I've got like a gazillion of them over here.
Mm-hmm.
How many Plano boxes of tackle would you have that like don't even go in your boat or do go in your boat but you never touch? Like how much tackle in Plano boxes do you own that you would never use?
So I've probably got about 30 total, I'd say.
In all your tackle, you've only got 30 Plano boxes? Like in all your tackle that you own?
Oh, no. If I put it all in Plano
If you
boxes?
put everything in Plano boxes, how much of it do you have that you would never use?
Probably a quarter of it.
And how many boxes? Give me a
Like
number.
25 boxes.
25 boxes
I probably got 100 total.
of Plano, 25 Plano boxes that he would never use, folks.
Yeah, I probably got 100 total if I put it all in there, and I probably don't use 25 of it ever, or will never. Hey, nobody ever said fishermen
This
were
doesn't-
the best at managing money, okay?
Absolutely not. We are
How many times have
very
you...
good candidates for the worst.
Oh, how many times have you been walking through Academy and just seen a crankbait and you're like, ooh, I like that color.
Yeah.
And you buy it and you never
Like
throw it.
Dude, I went to Academy at the end of the summer, right before soccer season started, to get my kids some brand new cleats. I'm like, I'm just going for cleats. I'm just
Yeah.
going for cleats.
No
I'm
big
just
deal.
going for cleats. And about $300 later,
He didn't just go for cleats.
I think I forgot to get the cleats.
Yeah.
So, dude, and I've got great sponsor deals. Like, I got all kinds of tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've still got like 15 unopened War Eagle spinnerbaits in the original package. You know which ones I'm talking about.
I do know which one you're talking
I
about.
still got them.
Right.
Haven't ever used them.
This guy, folks at home, I got to tell y'all a little story. There was this one particular War Eagle spinnerbait with this one particular blade combination that I used to really catch a lot of fish on, and then me and him went fishing. I showed it to him, and then we were catching lots of fish on it, and you were catching lots of fish on it.
Not small fish either.
No, we were wearing them out, big ones. And this guy, they weren't the easiest spinnerbaits to always find around. They were a little bit unique. And this guy would go, when he would find this particular model of spinnerbait, he would empty the peg.
Oh, yeah.
Not because he needed more. He didn't want anybody else to have it.
I was that guy.
And he's got a lot of them.
I still got a lot of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
And I broke him of that habit years ago at this point. What,
Yeah.
6 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
7 years ago, something like that. I got you to stop doing that and buying every one of them that you saw. So 6 years later, he's still got, I don't know how many sitting in a bag.
I saw on my workbench in my garage the other day. I want to say I have at least 10 or 12.
So you're a tackle addict.
I'm a tackle addict for sure.
You got another question you want to ask me?
I
know
sure
you
do.
got another one to ask me.
What's something that you wish people didn't know about you as far as being a fisherman? Like, what's something that's happened
On the water that I wish
on the
people
water
didn't
that
know?
you wish people didn't know about?
For sure, when we were doing the Did He Do It, and I told everybody about the time that I pooped in the water at Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
Like in the back of a creek, I just had to poop off the side of the boat in the water, and then I had to leave the whole creek, couldn't fish there anymore because I pooped so much it just scattered around, floated around. And I wish people didn't know that. I wish people didn't see me fall off my own trolling motor bracket setting the hook on a sight fish this year. That was on camera.
You really did. You don't wish that, though, because you were the editor for that video.
But it was I had to include the fish.
I get it.
We didn't just catch a ton of fish that day.
Right.
We quit early because I broke my trolling motor shaft. And so I didn't have a lot of fish catches, so I had to include every fish catch. And there's no way to avoid that. When you hook a fish and then fall in the water right when you hook it, then you land the fish. Like, you can't edit the fall out.
That's true.
So I wish people didn't know that.
I appreciate you being honest on this channel at all times. Even though you didn't want people to know it.
Cody May says, didn't Z-Dub push you into? No, I pushed Z-Dub in.
Yeah, that was in Athens.
And I want everybody to know that because Z-Dub got mad at me. So Zach Watts, we're fishing in March. And Zach, we're bed fishing. And Zach goes to set the hook on bed fish and breaks off. And so he's down there getting retied. I'm like, okay. Well, I flip right over there where that bed he just broke off.
Retied.
And on the first flip, that fish, and I just wanted to see the fish. That fish come running out from under some flooded grass and ate my bait before I could even do anything. And I set the hook and caught it. And Zach got mad and he hit me in a region no man wants to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Hit me in the nuts, folks. Hard.
The gonads, the crown jewels.
And so me being the devious person that I am, I even told him right then, I said, I'm going to get you back for that. It was months later because Zach didn't fish with me much this year. Like always, we always get busy.
Turnabout's fair play.
We were out on Ray Hubbard, and I was doing a talking segment for the camera, sitting down in front of the camera like I do, and he was fishing up on the front deck. And he set the hook on a fish, and I knew I had the camera on and everything. And so I just got up to like I was looking at the fish he was catching. What you got, Z? And I walked up behind him, and I shoved him like hard. Like he flew like 5 feet off the boat into the water. Yeah. If you didn't see that one, go back and find it. It was pretty entertaining.
What you got for me?
All right. What was your favorite subject in high school, and what was your GPA?
My favorite subject in high school was lunch, and my GPA was 2.8.
He said lunch and skinny, and you see how he failed that too. Look how skinny he is.
I can eat more than all of y'all. You know this.
Bro, you failed lunch. Look how skinny you are.
Stop it. Stop it.
If we're taking bets on who won lunch between me and you, it's me. I won the lunch battle. I mean, look at this lovely. I mean, round. I'm in shape. Round is a shape.
Dude, the only reason I gotta eat so much is because I got a tapeworm that I gotta feed too.
I guess you must have.
Yeah. So
You got another question for me?
I got one last question.
All right,
for
let's
you,
go.
Billy. Why are you always wearing sandals? It's like 40 degrees, and you're wearing sandals, bro.
Yeah.
What are those?
They're sandals. That's what they are. They're what does Zach call them? Jerusalem Reeboks or something like that.
Jerusalem Cruisers.
I don't remember what he called it, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the deal with me wearing sandals is vitamin D is an important asset to the human body. It is. And when it gets cold, you cover up because you're cold. But man, I want something that absorbs some sunshine and get some vitamin D in my body. And so I leave my feet exposed because it gets the least cold, and I don't really mind it when they do get cold, and I still get some vitamin D, and it helps me keep healthy, and I gotta do something to stay healthy because if I get enough vitamin D to keep my body in good shape, that allows me to make all them Whataburger stops when I go home. Like I gotta counteract the Whataburger somehow.
So I just want y'all to know something. So I explained to Billy, and I don't know that he was necessarily thinking about it this way, but he doesn't anymore. He eats a lot healthier now. But he used to eat Whataburger after fishing more than the average person got to go fishing a year. This dude used to eat Whataburger 75 to 100 times a year after fishing.
Yeah, we did the math. That's about what it was.
And that's like twice as much as a lot of people get to go fishing a year.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
It was pretty bad.
Isn't it crazy? Like how the world turns.
Amazing that I'm alive.
Oh, dude.
It's amazing that I'm alive.
And then
So the real reason that I actually do wear flip-flops, and I'll tell you this, there is actually a real reason. That was a joke, of course. I'm not smart enough to know what vitamin D does for the body. I have no idea what it does for the body.
There's that 2.8 GPA coming in.
You had a 2.8.
I had a 2.8.
You were smart.
And then I had a 4.0 in college. What up?
Pay for play.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the real reason, and I'll wear flip-flops when it gets, even sometimes when the lows are in the 40s in the morning, I'll wear flip-flops and just suck it up. The reason I do that is, on those days when it starts in the 40s, a lot of times it gets into the 60s or 70s.
Right.
Man, I cannot stand my feet to sweat. From my time in the Marine Corps and having sweaty feet and having, when you're in the Marine Corps and you get them sweaty feet, you got to work hard to keep your feet in decent shape.
Right.
I mean, you get sores on your feet, you get blisters, you get fungus stuff. I mean, it's hard to keep your feet straight when you're sweating in boots all the time. And I hate it with a passion. I hate my feet sweating, period.
Yeah.
So, yes, if it's going to be anything where my feet might potentially sweat in shoes at the end of the day, I'll suck it up and be cold in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my actual thought process about it. Now, if it gets down to, when it gets down to 40 or below 40 for a low, I just got to wear shoes.
Yeah.
I just got to wear shoes. And there are times when I fish when it's below freezing and it stays in the 30s, and I'll wear, cold weather boots and all that.
Right.
But my feet aren't going to sweat. I'm not going to deal with sweating feet. The other thing is, I'm pretty fat, pretty heavy. I weigh about 255 pounds. So when you got that much weight, there's a lot of blood getting pushed down to your feet and keeps them pretty warm.
Fair.
There it is. Let's see if there's any comments we need to address before we wrap this thing up tonight. So when did Prank Wars start in 2021? Tomorrow. I'm in. Let's go. Gary Payne says you do know you can take a multivitamin.
Again, Gary, 2.8 GPA, bro.
Less than 2.8 GPA. Leave Sling Blade alone. He's talking about you.
Who said that, Cody?
I figured the snake video would be one. As far as that's an address to something I wish people didn't know. Man, that's the most viewed video I've ever made.
Yeah.
That video got more views than anything else I've ever done. We caught some good fish that day, but it wasn't like a banner day of fishing. I mean, it was a good day. But the snake video is the most viewed video I've ever made. And I did literally about have a heart attack when that snake tried to get in my boat.
Bro, so
I'm not mad that people didn't see that because all I did was freak out about a snake. And let me tell you something right now. For everybody that's listening, I love and appreciate every one of y'all. But if you and freak you out, I don't want to know you personally. Like, I'm scared of you. There's something wrong with you if you're not scared of a snake trying to get in your boat.
So I took, Matt Waters.
The other reason I'm not mad that people saw that is because I might be a big old fat boy. But, did you see the athleticism getting from front deck to back deck in that moment? Hey,
Chop, chop.
pretty quick for a fat boy, I'm just saying. Moved pretty good.
So I took Matt Waters fishing one night on Palestine. I had these big old hybrids all up on a dock light.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt throws up there, gets his crankbait hung on the dock. I go to reach for it, and bro, when I tell you, it looked like the gateway to hell via spider webs.
Oh, God, you're so scared of spiders. You're so scared of spiders.
Oh, my God. Like, that'd be the same deal.
Yeah.
And, I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I can't do a spider. Can't.
Yeah. If you're not scared of snakes getting in your boat, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, no, I don't want them in my boat. I'm less scared of a snake than a spider.
You're less scared of snakes than I
me.
am. Yeah.
Believe you me, I'm not going to go up and pet one.
And I've had them try to get in my boat a few times. You spend enough time on the water, a snake's going to try to get in your boat.
You ever seen the balls of them when they're breeding, like the water moccasins?
Oh, dude.
Woo!
All right, I gotta go. I'm not gonna sleep for a week though.
Oh, dude, I've seen it on Palestine. It's
Oh, I
not
know they're
great.
bad on Palestine. It's
Yeah.
awful. It is awful. Y'all get some serious spiders on the timber there on Fork. We do. You know what else we get? Those flying spiders.
Yeah.
Those webs that just drift in the air. And sometimes there'll be a little spider attached to it. You won't talk about seeing somebody do a funny dance.
Oh,
Them flying
Can't.
spider webs get to floating around. This cat is on point, dude.
Dude,
He's
I
watching
can't.
everything.
like I'd like to say that I'm a pretty brave human being, but when it comes to a spider, all bets are off.
Big John says, I fish in a kayak. Tell me about snakes. One of the many reasons I do not fish in a kayak. I realize that kayaks, putting kayak fishing in the title, that can be a way to get some more YouTube views. Guess what I'm not going to do? Get more YouTube views. I ain't getting in a kayak, Jack. It ain't happening. I've thought about it. I've thought it over many times. It always comes to the same conclusion. I got all the respect in the world for you, John. I appreciate that you're willing to do that, and all you kayak fishermen, y'all. Hey, I'm falling out of that kayak, guaranteed.
What if you were wrapped in Kevlar, and there's no way the snake could bite you?
I'm not getting in a kayak just because of snakes.
No, I'm just saying though, completely different question.
I'm still not getting in a kayak. If I was wrapped in Kevlar and a snake tried to get my boat, I'd still run.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Because
asking.
there is supposed to be, in a human being, there is supposed to be a natural instinctive reaction when you see a snake to go, oh shit, and run.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. And if you don't do that, you're messed up.
I agree.
Whether you're wearing protection or not.
Right. You're bringing me back to the fear factor.
Dude, in the Marine Corps, we wore a flak jacket, but when they shot, you still ducked.
Right. No, I know. I hear what you're saying. I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we drove running up armored vehicles, but when they started firing shots at you, still sped up.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Fair point?
Fair point.
Hard to argue that one.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to end it on that. That's a great note, man. Hey, I hope you guys enjoy some of these goofy content. What was my job in the military? I was motor T, 3500, baby. If you can't truck it, I was a Marine Corps motor T operator. Yeah, we'll wrap it up, man. The Opens, what an awesome deal that was to watch this year. The Elite Series schedule, can't wait to see that next year. And I'm going to tell you, this is the first year I've always paid attention to the Opens, but it's been like, if I knew somebody in it, I'd pay attention to their standings. And at the end of the year, I'd kind of look and see who qualified. Most time I may not know who they were and wasn't no big deal. From now on, forevermore, I will be much more invested in watching the Bassmaster Opens. That is a cool deal to see that race unfold and how it all works out in the end with all those point changes. I mean, everything changed the last two events. I mean, there was Christie stayed in, but Hackney wasn't in, and he got in at the last event. It was so cool to watch that. So I'll really be watching that in the future. And then that schedule for next year, I'm really excited to do that. And the Bass Pro Tour has a great schedule too. We'll talk about the Bass Pro Tour schedule next week on our podcast, and we'll try to get another good calling guest for you guys. We'll get one of the tour guys. Try to get one of the tour guys to talk to us on the phone next week. Maybe we can get Daryl Gleason on the phone and talk to him about qualifying for the Elite Series. That'd be great. But we'll try to keep doing that, man. Thank you guys so very much for watching like you always do. We appreciate everything that y'all continue to do for us here at Your Lake Fork Guide and at Fish Life and all that. And yeah, really appreciate it. Chris, do that thing you do.
Y'all better watch out for them fighting Texas Aggies this year, boy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, boy. You know it.